Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading up 1.1% to 32,939. Ethereum is down 3.34% at 2103. We note the stable coins USDC, DAI, USDT, BUSD, they're green at the moment. That means money is flowing from the crypto market into the stable coins. If it's the first time you're joining us, I'd just like to let you know everything I do for you is free. My focus is to help you to become more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I make money from the markets, so I have no interest in paid groups, reports, indicators, trading links, anything like that. Please be aware of scammers. I'd like to share Rule 394 with you. Listen to all, then analyze. This is a really important rule. The focus, we listen to everybody. It doesn't matter what that opinion is. It could be Bitcoin and crypto going to zero. It could be Bitcoin and crypto going to $100 million. Whatever it is, it's not important. We should always listen to everyone and then analyze. We listen with an open mind. But why is that? When people are new to trading and investing, they typically lose a lot of money and they don't stick with it for long. There's stats out there that say that basically 40% of people stay for about a month and then 80% quit within 2 years, 7% remain after 5 years, and 1% are in profit. Everything I do for you is to get you into this top of the triangle. I've been here for decades. I guess I'm up there. I am up there. So I want to make sure you are up there too. One of the fastest ways to lose money is to listen to ideas, opinions, judgments of other people. All of those things are important, and everybody's entitled to have whatever opinion they want on anything. It's really dangerous to act on those opinions. I'll explain why. Socrates was a famous philosopher who lived in Athens around 399 BC. He said something really important. It is better to change an opinion than to persist in a wrong one. What does this mean? There was a really old story that my dad taught me. It's a fascinating concept in psychology. He said that there was a cult, the end of the world cult, and that particular cult realized somehow by their magical leader that the end of the world was upon them and they should give all those possessions that they owned to this leader and burn their clothes and stand in the snow naked waiting for the end of the world. That was quite a few years ago. My dad unfortunately passed away more than 10 years ago. That particular story says people can get ideas in their head and they believe them to be true. Now the fascinating thing is those people that stood waiting for the end of the world all those decades and decades ago, and it didn't happen, did they stop believing? No, they thought their opinion was still correct. They still believed the end of the world was coming. This is unfortunately what people tend to do. They persist in wrong opinions. Steve Jobs was a very famous businessman. He said, "Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice." That's really important. It's important to understand that the majority of information is in fact noise. It's related to judgment. It's related to bias. What we do on this particular channel is go through research, lots and lots of research. We mentioned before that a lot of people who are new to trading and investing lose money. That's because they rely on the judgment and opinion of others, then act in fear of missing out, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But it's all fear, and that creates emotional trading. Remember, every investor is a trader whenever they buy or sell. If you're an investor and you're not sure how to trade, you will typically buy at the top and sell at the bottom when emotion is high. That's why it's really important to learn how to trade, how to be profitable. Look at all the facts. Don't have a bias. In fact, what I do every single day, I look across all the facts and I actively try to invalidate everything that I am thinking. I say, is this valid? Is this correct? And I look for data to prove me wrong. If I can't find the data that proves me wrong, then I'm correct. But there is no bias. The bias is what we had yesterday. Is that still correct today? It's not, am I correct? I don't care about being correct. It's irrelevant. This leads us into probabilities. We're always saying, let's trade the probability, and we can only go with the dominant probability. We can't ever go with certainty. No risk, no reward. There were some things floating around on Twitter related to the money supply, and I, of course, do my research on everything. I thought you would like this. This is from the Visual Capitalist. You note here, narrow money, that's this, M1. This is from 2020. It's not current, but it's certainly a really cool visual, and I wanted to show you something. Narrow money in 2020 was 35.2 trillion. Note this. This is really what I wanted to show you, share with you, because there's been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about Tether recently. So we're just going to look into that. 7% of the money supply, M1, that includes world coins, banknotes, checking deposits. It's only physical. 93% of that is digital. It only exists in the air. Talk about cryptocurrency. The banking system is already doing it. The really interesting thing, broad money, M2, is M1 plus a little bit more, sort of savings and checking and time or term deposits. That's $95.7 trillion. It's actually a lot more because of the Fed printing. This is really interesting from another perspective as well. If you were to go to the bank and say, I'd like $100,000, I mean, assume it's in your account. That always helps. So if you've got $1 million in your account, or whatever you've got, something over 10,000, if you go and ask for $10 or $20 or $30,000, do you know what they say? Come back in a couple of days. Do you know why they say that? It's incredible. They just don't have the money. Fascinating. We always love to dig deep. Have a look at this CoinDesk article on Tether's reserves. This shows this 75% here, 75% is in, this is for Tether, cash and cash equivalents and short-term deposits, commercial paper. Note the only thing that is digital is this little sliver here, 1.6%. Let's call it 2% for fun. Corporate bonds, precious metals, around 10%, secured loans. 98% of Tether is secured. Let's go back to M1 and M2. 7%. Wow. Which is more stable, Tether or the banking system? I've spent a lot of time in the markets, and as a gold investor, I was always interested in the M2 money supply, the money stock from Fred. What actually happened, that was a discontinued measure. It's been replaced by something called M2 Real. I noticed a couple of things floating around on Twitter today about the Bitcoin divided by the money supply. Quite interesting, and it's really sort of just exploring ideas more than anything. I also came across this exploration, which is using the money supply and looking at it and saying, concluding, Bitcoin has become irrationally bearish according to the M2 money supply history, etc., etc. If you read through this, I'll just leave it on the screen for a tick, but the concept is very interesting that people make different observations about the same data. It doesn't mean that this is correct and the other observation is incorrect. Their opinions, their judgments. Everybody's entitled to their own judgment and own opinion. What really matters is the balance of probabilities. What is the on-chain data doing? What are the stock markets doing? What are the indices doing? What is gold and silver doing? What's treasury yields doing? All of that information that we go through once a day and we cover as much as humanly possible in as fast amount of time, quickly as possible. That's the context that we're looking at. If that comes up negative, it's negative. If it comes up positive, it's positive. Whatever it is, we trade it. We just don't care about the positive or negative. We care about the facts. Let's have a chat about Rule 1122, the KS method for timing. This is a very specific method that I found optimizes trades, and it can work for you too. Let's go through it. The first thing we do is news sentiment analysis. The news is literally full of opinions and judgments. Institutions actually influence the news. So when I look at the news, I look with one eye closed, one ear closed, and half my brain turned off, because I think it's hilarious what some of these things do, some of these stories. But some of it is signal. A lot is noise, but there is always signal amongst the noise. That is what we really want to see. Square making a hardware wallet for Bitcoin, that's positive. That's signal. Bitcoin trader eyes US dollar price breakout. That is a positive piece of news. Tesla billionaire Elon Musk issues serious Bitcoin something. Okay, good on you, Elon. He's always doing something interesting. Why hackers rely on Bitcoin for ransom payments? Sorry. It's just ridiculous. Do you know why they rely on it? Because it's cryptographically the most secure thing on earth. It's so funny, really. Anyway, I mean, ransom payments is not good, but their hackers relying on Bitcoin is kind of funny. Elon Musk explains why Dogecoin will be superior. Good on you, Elon. Big Salvadorian majority skeptical of Bitcoin. Ooh, this is interesting. That sounds very negative. Square plans, same news, different outlet. Bitcoin price seesaws. I've seen a lot of really funny things on Twitter. people posting things like 32,000, 33,000, 31,000. So boring. You know, it's building a base. When Bitcoin starts to break through that base, hold on to your seat. It's going to be a rocket ride. Jack Dorsey Square, third story repeated. Bitcoin price under pressure. Ooh, regulatory concerns. Good luck with the regulation, people. You know, what it's really about is that we listen to everything and everyone. There is no need to defend any position. If someone says to you, oh, you're wrong for thinking that, you just say, okay, you can think whatever you want. It's you're entitled to do that. There are really only friends out there. In time, people will see the facts because they'll just reveal themselves to everyone. BitInfo Charts is a really cool resource. I was recommended this recently by a community member. I'm so sorry, I couldn't find the message. I get so many messages every day and I love them. Don't stop. Please keep on sending them. Sometimes things get buried. I'm so sorry for not calling out your name, but you know who you are. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin, or Dogecoin. Elon said it's pretty good, and there's quite a few things that are actually good with Dogecoin. It manufactures blocks very quickly. It does all sorts of different things. But what I wanted to point out is these addresses and wealth distribution, tongue twister. If you look at Bitcoin, 6.13% is in the top 10 addresses. If we look across at Litecoin, 17% odd is in the top 10. If we look across the top 10, 45% is in the top 10. This, as a trader and an investor, should concern you because it means that there are a lot of coins sitting in the hands of very, very few people. To get rid of that would absolutely smash the price. you should just be aware of these percentages. This particular resource is bitinfocharts.com. It's really well worth looking at. It's a pretty cool resource. I like continually reinforcing the rules, especially the important ones. Rule 52, whether we like it or not, it's not important. We just go with the facts. Bitcoin moves the crypto market. Anyone in the community for any period of time knows this is an actual absolute law. This means before we get into looking at any specific alt, we need to see what Bitcoin is doing to try and understand it. We can see through Bitcoin's technical analysis, the current price is 32,967. It's above the support of 32,834, and it's above structural support at 32,414. When price was coming down here recently, mainly due to the FOMC meeting minutes being released and fears about inflation and lower economic growth and all sorts of things which impacted yields. We know all of that because we go through that every day. Episode 112 had a lot of information on the yields and bonds, as did episode 114. If you haven't had a chance to look at those, I suggest you do. It's going to pave a very good and powerful knowledge base for you on so many things. Those episodes basically explain why we had this sell-off. Now we're seeing a recovery because the meeting minutes weren't that bad. And also we're at structural support here. A lot of people in our community are just sparkling. I'm just so privileged to see the development of so many people. There was no panic at all. It was like, yeah, I'm getting my buy orders filled. That is incredibly impressive. Well done, well done. Current resistance on Bitcoin is 33,588, as well as a higher level of 34,267. Remember, we're really seeking to get over that 35,000. We'll get there. Just takes the shorts to come into the market. Carey shared this today with me, which is a fantastic chart. Thanks very much, Carey. What it actually shows, this is from Santiment. It shows, for example, supply outside of exchanges of Bitcoin. You see the supply outside of exchanges, like cold storage, is moving up and up and up. The supply on the exchanges is moving down and down and down. This is basically showing us that Bitcoin is getting ready for a pump. It's very, very good. Thank you, Carey. Let's investigate how Bitcoin shorts, shown here in red, are behaving relative to the longs up here. You can see more and more longs are coming in. What is that doing to the shorts? It's liquidating them. The more shorts that come into the market, the higher price can go. We've been waiting for a big spike in shorts. We haven't quite got there yet. Shorts and longs each have their time in the sun. Shorts get liquidated by longs and longs get liquidated by shorts. It's a very symbiotic relationship. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum shorts measured here in the red relative to Ethereum longs measured in the green. You notice this incredible drop off. I pointed out several days ago that we were seeing increasing shorts and everybody was touting Ethereum is going fantastic, it's flippening, it's doing all of those things. And community members reached out and they had questions like, what's this? What is this? I don't understand this. And we just surmised that a correction was on the way. It's really interesting to keep your eye on the shorts relative to the longs. It's very, very helpful. Let's check out total liquidations across the market. 24-hour liquidations currently sitting at 283.32 million across 67,477 traders. We can see past the crossed hour, 62.5% of liquidations were short. If we look back across time, we can see that the shorts, when they're liquidated, what do they do to price? Can you see that? they increase the price. When the longs are liquidated, they decrease the price. Let's have a look at net realized profit and loss. What I'm going to do is just to zoom in here so we can get a more specific value out of these charts. We can see a lot of losses happen around June 25th. Those losses are decreasing. Let's have a look at the Tether USD balance on exchanges across all exchanges. We've seen this spike. We record this spike on the psychological safety chart. We've seen this spike. This spike, it means the Tether has increased on exchanges, is now being deployed into coins, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everything else. We turn to the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio, SSR, oscillator to see how those Tether balances and stablecoin balances are being deployed. They're currently being deployed back into the crypto market. That's very positive. It shows accumulation. That's institutional behavior. Let's have a look at the fear and greed index. It was at 20 yesterday. It's at 20 today. People are experiencing extreme fear. Everyone in this community is seeking to act like an institutional investor or institutional trader. To us, this fear is the safest we feel. We feel anxiety as price goes up and up and up because people tend to buy at the top because they fear missing out. When there's extreme greed in the market, the institutions sell off and then they shoot it up again, sell off, shoot it up again. This period of time is probably the most incredible time for you to learn how institutions work. It's really, really good. You notice the Tether balance here, coming through here, that $4 billion we noticed. This is an accumulation range. The whole thing is an accumulation range. I mentioned before about investors. If you are a trader or an investor, if you're an investor, it's typical that you would invest when everybody else is investing. That's why people tend to buy at the top. When you sell, you would typically sell when everybody else is selling. That means you can sell a bottom. If you've ever heard someone say, "Oh my goodness, I bought at the top and I've sold at the bottom," you understand this idea of psychological safety. The majority of our community is starting to think from an institutional perspective. This is great. This is scary. We're starting to get that uptake, and it's really beautiful to see. Part of the timing process is to understand how the entire market is going. Top 7: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Cardano, Doge, and XRP. Let's have a look at the top gainers over the past 24 hours. ZRX, Synthetics, Terra, KCS, Atom, Harmony, and Leo. Let's go the other way. What are the greatest losses? Mana, Engine, Theta, Rune, Axie Infinity, Chiliz, and Compound. Let's check the other side. Greatest gainers past 7 days. Axie Infinity, KuCoin Token, Synthetics, Harmony, Aave, Stacks, and 0x. Let's go the opposite way. Greatest losses: Telcoin, Celo, VeChain, HBAR, Doge, Waves, and ZIL. This helps us to understand how things are actually moving in the crypto market. We cover a lot of ground here. Part of our community edge is to look at the Binance derivatives. We want to understand how the change in the price of the contract in the past 24 hours is impacting the crypto market. Current 24-hour trading volume is $50.9 billion. 24-hour open interest, $6.1 billion. Now, we're looking for double-digit gainers. You can see here that Bitcoin has interest in it, whereas Ethereum does not. It's represented by the positive and negative numbers. Doge has some interest. Aave has some interest. It's low, but it's there. we're looking particularly, Atom is looking good, 6.7. Synthetics, SNX, looking good, 0x, 19.2, looking very good. Going through, Tomo, yeah, there's a couple here that's sort of floating around, Acro. Now, when we look through these particular coins, we're not trying to say if we should invest in them or trade them or not. It really depends what your edge is. If you're in and out of trades quickly, that could be a good thing to do, to look at this. Otherwise, if you're an investor and you want to hold for a long period of time, you could look at double-digit negatives and use that to dollar cost average in. There are a lot of methods. We'll go through them in future episodes, as well as this one, of course. When people are new to trading and investing, when they get to Rule 47, master your edge, that edge resides in other people, other opinions, other friends. What I'm trying to help you to do is to look across everything and create your own edge. That is really, really important. I'm in effect saying, I don't want to give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish so you can be a blessing intergenerationally, which is the most incredible thing anyone could ever be. Let's have a look at crypto total market cap. Total market is currently $1.352 trillion. We can see this overhead structural resistance coming into play, which has been pushing down price. But you know what? Price is getting closer and closer and closer to this line. This is the thing that we know that maybe other people don't. We see this action as showing strength. This sell-off is really mainly tied to the FOMC minutes and people adjusting their risk profiles. It was pretty much a non-event. That's why everything is consolidating here, getting ready to come up again and test and then break through this line. We know the prices are negatively biased, so if it goes down a little bit further, we don't care. Look at all this green level of support. It's huge underneath here. It's always good to keep that in mind. Another thing that new investors and traders do is that they prepare for corrections. They anticipate corrections, and they cost themselves so much money. The thing with corrections, black swans, ignore them. Ignore them. Get super courageous and super strong. Be like an institution. Don't worry about corrections. You can't do anything about them anyway. They will always hit from time to time. It's inevitable. Just like it's going to rain or it's going to be sunshine. Just don't worry about it. This particular episode, I've sought to include as many alts as I can, so we'll go quite quickly through them. I really would love if you look at the patterns of different alts, even if you don't actually have any stake in those alts. It will make your trading and investing better. Remember, every investor becomes a trader when they buy or sell. It's really, really important that you gain the skills that will help to make you more of a financial blessing for yourself and others. Okay, Ethereum currently trading at 2092, pretty much at support. It has support below at 2020 and 1960, good levels of structural support at 1909, has resistance above at 2178 and 2253. No matter what alt you are trading and investing, price always is moving in a wave, coming up, going down, coming up, going down, coming up, going down. What do you think it's going to do next? Potentially come up. Let's have a look at BNB, Binance Coin. You notice this sharp, tight resistance line that we drew here? That's become support. And notice this down particular resistance level that became support? It's holding support quite well. The cut in this resistance line and making it support, and the slowing down and supporting on this blue structural resistance line is very positive for BNB. Also, another positive is the next structural resistance is at $440. That's quite cool. It's very interesting. BNB has got a potential bit of fresh air above it. BNB is currently trading at 308.70. 308.70. It has support below at 302.71 and also structural support at 291.52. It has resistance above at 318.46 and 327.48. Let's have a look at ADA Cardano. You can see the community loves Cardano, and what's not to love. Okay, ADA is currently trading at 132.28. It is literally just near its support, trying to turn near its resistance, trying to turn that to support at 133.43. It has support below at 128.48 and very good structural support below at 124.11 and 121.27. It has resistance above at 140 and 144.86. Let's look at Dogecoin. Look at Doge. It wants to party. Who let the dogs out? I don't know. Okay, must be Elon. Doge is currently trading at 21.856. It's above support at 21.095 and 19.990. It's coming up to resistance, the next level of resistance, at 23.393 and 24.892. It looks quite healthy. It's above this structural, once was resistance, now is support. And it's looking quite good. I think Doge could do quite well. Let's have a look at XRP. XRP currently trading at 61.15, above support at 59.99. Structural support 56.94. There's quite a lot of structural support in XRP below its current price. We can see a level of structural resistance at 63.17 and just normal resistance at 65.60. One thing that's really good, XRP is holding this line of once structural resistance now turned into structural support. That's really healthy. We get over this particular barrier at 63.17. We're going to see some fireworks, I believe, in XRP. A couple of episodes ago, we went through top picks. They were the highest percent gainers in that particular day. Let's see how they're actually going now. I love tracking top percent gainers to see how they behave. One, Harmony, is quite a community favorite. We notice that Harmony is coming up to structural resistance around, for example, the 91.25 mark. It's forming a fairly good pattern. There's some power here. You always want to invest in power. Power is incredibly important. If you have something without power, you may tend to lose a lot of money. One is currently trading at 84.91. It has support at 80 cents and down, sorry, not 80 cents, 0.8 cents and support below at 73.55. It has resistance above at 86.42 and 91.25. That 91.25 is quite an important level because of the structural resistance above it. We know when structural resistance plays, it tends to push the price down, but we can see some very powerful behavior. This upward channel of support here has held the price incredibly well. That's really, really good. Let's have a look at Mana, Decentraland. Mana is currently trading at 61.72. It's realistically at its support right now. Resistance above is 62.42 and 68.31. Support below is 51.56 and 44.19. It's really interesting how Mana rallied up and then has sold off. Price is always moving in a wave. This is an example of sharp angles reflecting. This is always something we need to be aware of. It can work for us, like here, sharp angles reflecting. It can work for us and it can work against us. Let's have a look at Luna Terra. Luna is currently trading at 7167. It's above support at 706 and 790. Resistance is 7429 and 7958. It's quite a good structure here. We can see that it's sold off, but it came back up. This is really good. This is showing power. This is what we always are interested in. Let's have a look at Kusama, KSM. KSM is currently trading at 206.80. I realize there's a lot more people that like Kusama than is listed here. It's always a little bit hard to include everybody's name because I have to do so much cross-referencing. Anyway, Kusama has resistance above at 213.29 and 239.82, has support below at 190.30 and 163.19. We can see that even though that top gain occurred, it didn't hold it, and we notice that other coins formed a W pattern. Instead, this one, Kusama, broke down. We've got this upward channel of support here. It's kind of holding it, but not quite. Kusama, we need to keep our eye on that. It's really nice to think of our community as a community channel. What I do every day, I reach out to our fellow members and I ask, what would you like me to look at? What is on your mind? I try to address all of those things. We are really relevant every day. A lot of people reached out and said, Ken, can you analyze Chainlink? And I said, of course, no problem. Let's get into it. Link is currently trading at 17,915. It has resistance above at 19,966 and structural resistance at 21,807. It has support below, structural support below, at 17,209 and normal support at 16,062. I'd like to explain what I see here. I see this down structural resistance turn to structural support. Look at this fresh air that Link is showing. It didn't come down like Doge and hug it all the way down. It's actually showing strength. And this is a consolidation. It takes time to stop the steam engine from whatever direction it's going. It has to slowly turn around. It's like one of those big tankers, like an oil tanker. It takes time to turn it around. You need the tugs to push it. This is what I'm seeing here. This could be really, really interesting. Let's keep our eye on Link. I did a bit of a more extensive analysis on Theta because what I see is that a lot of people in the community are interested in. You see this dotted structural resistance line? This is a weekly structural resistance line. It's a special form. I just wanted to give you a different insight. You can see how there's a confluence of resistances around here. What this means is that there was a lot of resistance that Theta had to break through. It really tried, couldn't get there, tried and did it, and broke down. But there's also structural support down here. What we need to do is get above these blue lines into the sort of, if you like, just focus on the 6779 mark. It's really interesting that there's so much resistance around here. When Theta gets over that, Theta is a really good project. I really believe in it as well. Theta could do very well. Let's look into the particular lines right now. So the current price is 5,925. It has structural support at 5,816 and also this upward diagonal line at around 5,594. It has a horizontal structural support at 5,374. We're really wanting to get over the price confluence, this structural resistance confluence, the first level at around 6,235, and then get up over this at 6,491. VeChain has a lot of community support as well. That's what we're all about in this channel, looking after the community. VET is currently trading at 74.22. It has support below at 71.31 and 68.18. Note this structural resistance at 80.45 and further resistance, just normal resistance, up at 87.80. We're really wanting VET to take off from this structural resistance, now turn structural support. You see how when you analyze a lot of coins, you see so much. That's what you want to do. If you've stuck with me till now, I want to say you're awesome. And maybe you put in the comment something like awesome to let me know you've stayed. I really love that. You're investing your time, your effort, and your energy into becoming more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I love it. Well done. I'm really, really impressed. I'd love to see that little comment, awesome. Nobody else will know what it means, but we will. Haha. Okay, so what are we looking at? VET. When it takes off, gets over this particular area of resistance at 87.80, I think VET's going to do really, really well. It's always good to think like an institution. If you bought VET right now and it just regained this particular resistance line up, that's a 61.89% increase in price. That's a little bit better than bank interest. Let's have a look at Polygon Matic, which is another lovely community request. So many people love Matic. Let's check it out. We can see this structural resistance has now turned into support here because price is trading to the right of it. We can see a level of structural resistance at 105.585. Price is just a little bit below that and just above a structural support at 101.203. We note here that this structural resistance, now turned support, is supporting that price. We've got a confluence of supports down here underneath the current price. I think that's pretty cool, but bear in mind, you see this downward structural resistance here. We need to break above that. That particular structural resistance is going to come into play at around 118.745. Overall, we know that Matic is really, really powerful. When it gets going, it really gets going. I hope you found the content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Let's check out Ethereum tokens for a bit of fun. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. Our community is really helpful and supportive too, and I always do my best to respond. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Let's flip back to see the main market. Always remember, crypto is volatile. Please prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.